Welcome, viewers. This is A Vision Entertainment Media Broadcast. Once again, we have a legend. He stopped by. This man is worldwide. He is Cornbread. He's Daryl, aka Cornbread. Everyone knows him. He's a graffiti legend. This man started his movement in Philadelphia, and it went from Philly to New York to Europe to almost all around the world, man. That's what I say. This man is Cornbread, the legendary Cornbread. How are you, brother?
I'm good, brother. It's good to be here.
Oh, that's wonderful, man. Wonderful. After hearing stories about you, man. I'm from. I don't know if you know about Morocco's, Francisville area, but that's where I'm from, man. And I
Oh,
hear a lot of
Leland and them?
Leland. Oh, yeah, all down
Leland
there.
and Frank Tanner and all.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my neighborhood. Did you know Frank? Did you know Fonnie
Fine.
Cresswell? Fonnie used to be a Frank and David.
No, I know Frank. Oh, geez, I don't see. If you show me a picture of Finding, I would know. But I know
Yeah.
everybody down Leland, Paris Street, Brown Street, Francis. That we call that lowland. I lived up
Right.
top of
Did you know
Highland.
did you know Janice Cresswell?
No, I don't. Can't recall Janice
She
Crest.
had two
They
sons
probably
by
called her
me.
another name. Or
Yeah,
two sons.
yeah.
Okay. Where she
Right.
lived at?
On Paris Street.
Okay. Yeah, your screen got black.
I know.
I can't. Okay, I'm Paris. Now, if you show me a picture, I probably know. I have to. I was born and raised.
Right off of 16th Street.
Yeah, yes, 16 from Paris, down Ridge, all down
Yeah,
that way.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm quite sure I probably know 'em.
yeah.
But those,
Well,
those are my.
back in the early '60s,
Mhm.
I must have been about maybe 8, 9 years old, man. And there used to be
Wow,
about 10 of us, and we
wow.
were troubled children. And
Okay.
in my home, without the benefit of a father figure in my home, I
Mhm.
pretty much marched to the beat of my own drum. Um, my grandparents were God-fearing individuals. They went to church 7 days in a week, and out of seven
Yeah,
days, we was in church at least 4.
yeah.
And going to church every day was like quite boring to me. What I loved about
Like,
the church was walking from my house to the church. Had to walk through
mhm.
all the gang neighborhoods up and down Columbia Avenue, and I would walk by the bars and see the guys on the corner and out in the corner singing doo-wop, the process of the sunglasses. And by me being in a controlled environment in church all the time, that was new to me. I was
Wow.
attracted to the streets when I walked to the church. And although I might have came from a God-fearing family, I didn't have a father figure in my home. I got in a lot of trouble, man. There was been about 10 of us, and we stayed in all types of stuff, man. If we wasn't breaking in stores, we were robbing people's houses, we were snatching pocketbooks. I mean, we
Wow.
was robbing. We were just juvenile delinquents.
And
And
this at 8 years old, right?
8, 9 years old, yeah, we was like out of
Wow.
control. And
Mhm.
each one of us got locked up one by one. And you wasn't nothing unless you went to jail and came home. That's the
Now,
mentality.
I don't mean now. Was the youth study center around there at that time?
You study center was up and running, but your study center was just a holding place where you
Okay.
did your time was either YDC, Glen Mills, Slayton Farm.
Okay, around that time. Okay.
Yeah, at that time, right?
Mhm.
And I had so many charges, man. Like, I didn't have no consequences about being penalized about anything. If I got locked up for snatching a pocketbook, um 2 days later I was snatching another pocketbook. And 2 days later I was
Wow.
snatching another pocketbook.
He was
You know,
young,
I had
man.
I had so many
Wow.
purse snatch, burglaries, robberies. I went in front of. I
Mhm.
wasn't going to school. I
Wow.
went in front of the judge. The judge looked at my record, and he told my mom, "I'm sorry, man, but we're gonna have to commit your son."
Wow.
And
And
I
how,
thought this
how, how
was
long
wrong.
how long were you committed for? Was
He
it?
gave me indefinite.
Wow.
You know what indefinite
So,
is?
so we talking about like what? Uh, Not life at that age, but we
That's
talking
exactly
like
what that. That's exactly what that means.
wow.
That's exactly what that meant. So I asked. I said, "Your Honor, what does indefinite means?" He said, "This don't tell them when you're coming home, son. When you get yourself together, is when they're going to release you."
Wow.
Everybody else had time. Everybody had 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months. They had a court date. They was coming home.
Hmm.
But people who had indefinite life, when no telling. And when I got there, My sister used to always mail me poetry books, and I used to read the poetry books. Before I got there, my brother had a lot of girlfriends who used to write him love letters, and I used to read his love letters, and I was marveled by the words that my brother used writing love letters to his girlfriends. And I used to retain that information that I read. So when I got to YDC, my sister used to send me poetry books. I used to like a tossed salad. I remember what my brother wrote, and I took passages out the poetry book, and I would write poetic love letters for the gang members to their girlfriends. And we was
Wow.
cool with that.
So
You know, I spilled some high power stuff to one of them gang member girlfriends, man, and read it to him first. He said,
mhm,
"Damn, Brett, that's good money, man. That's good money." I said, "You can get that.
wow.
I want two candy bars, two bags of chips, and two canned sodas. You got it." And I was hustling the guys. And when I see their
Wow.
names on the walls, every time I see a gang member name on the walls, I would write my name right next to theirs, real big.
Mhm,
And that really kind of defaced YDC. I really bombed YDC out. The reason why I did it because I received so many accolades. They thought that all my writing I was doing had something to do with expression and expression
mhm,
of art. And I
wow.
just kept writing because they kept paying me attention.
Mhm,
And it got to the point where the administration came to me and said, like, you are defacing the center too much. We're gonna give you some paint, and you're gonna paint over what you messed up. And he was loud talking in front of the gang members. I said, oh, I'm not painting over nothing. He said,
wow.
if we don't do it, put your ass in the hole. I put my hands up in the air. Take me to the hole. Take me to the hole. So the gang members started pulling. Okay, Brett. Okay, Brett. But they put me in the hole for a couple of days. That wasn't nothing. I didn't hurt anybody. I wasn't fighting. I didn't steal nothing. I just wrote on some walls. After a couple of days,
Wow.
I came out the hole. I resumed writing cornbread all over the place again.
I was going to ask you, how did that name come about? How did Cornbread name come about? Was it in
I,
from the jail?
yeah, I got it from the cook. Um, I was on C unit, and C unit was the youngest unit at the institution. And each time
YDC.
C, huh?
No, I said YDC,
Yeah,
right?
YGC, yeah. I
Okay.
had A unit, B unit, C unit. C unit was the youngest unit. And
Okay.
when C unit got to the cafeteria to get their meals, a lot of times the bread would be kind of hard and be kind of stale, wasn't quite fresh. And like after
Wow.
3, 4 times of that, I took matters in my own hands with my defined disorder. I went back to the kitchen and I approached the head chef, Mr. Swanson. So, I walk in the kitchen. I said, "Who's in charge back here?" When the kitchen went, so Mr. Swanson in charge. That's his office over there. So I go and knock on the door. He said, "Oh, come in." I comes in. He said, "What can I do for you?" I said, "Mr. Swanson, my grandma make the best cornbread in the world. And when a lot of times when see you and come down to the cafeteria, the bread be hard. I was wondering, would you consider putting some cornbread on the menu just for the trial period, you know?" He said, "That's what you come here to ask me about some
you,
cornbread?"
you tell him that and lock up. You told the chef, the cook that and lock up.
I didn't tell him. I asked him.
You asked him. Yeah,
I was real
yeah.
humble about I was humble about my request.
Okay, okay,
But he didn't like
okay.
the fact that I'm coming to him wasting his time
Exactly,
with some
exactly.
cornbread bullshit. He said, "Man, I'm a busy person. I ain't got time for no cornbread bullshit. Take a walk and don't come back in my kitchen. Get out of here." I said, "Mr. Swanson, listen, I'm not," he stands up. "You better take a walk for a be something. Get out my kitchen. I'm not going to ask you again." So I get up and I leave. 2 days later, I'm back in his kitchen again. "Mr. Swanson, let's just talk." He said, "Man, I don't know what you think I am, but I ain't got time for your shit. Now, you come in my kitchen again, it's going to be something. I'm not going to ask you again. Get the fuck out of my kitchen and don't come back."
Wow,
I left out again.
wow.
2 days later, I'm back in this kitchen again. So this time when I walk in, the kitchen worker see me coming in. "Hey, Mr. Swanson, your boy here." "My boy? My boy who?"
Because you
"Your boy
always in there.
Cornbread. Your boy Cornbread." He said, "You again." He said, "Come here, man. Come here." I said,
Wow.
He's coming at me." I said, "Yo, Mr. Swanson, I told you I could just come to talk to you." He gripped me
Yeah.
by my shoulder like this, and then lifted me off the floor. Said, "Let's go. I told you about coming in with this cornbread bullshit. Let's go." Then lift me off the floor. Take me up to the cafeteria everybody was sitting at. "Mr. Love," all loud. Everybody turns around. Everybody see me, Mr. Swanson got me gripped up. I said, "What the hell's going on?" "Mr. Love, keep this cornbread out my kitchen," and threw me on the floor. And everybody just started laughing at me, man.
Wow,
I
wow,
was
wow.
not embarrassed.
At
And
all, huh?
that was my nickname. Everybody called me Cornbread.
So
They
from
thought
that
they
moment, you was Cornbread. Called
From that
Cornbread.
moment, I started writing Cornbread. They call themselves teasing me. I didn't mind them calling me Cornbread. That was a cool ass nickname. Everybody had nicknames. I didn't have one. Now I got me one. So I started writing my new nickname all over the institution beside other gang members' names. All the gang members knew who I was, and pretty soon all the administration knew who I was. I really fucked up YDC.
You
So,
never joined no gangs? You was by yourself doing this stuff?
nah. I was never a gang member. Never a gang member. I was
Okay.
never a follower. I never followed nobody.
Okay.
So, when the administration came at me about, you the face the center, man. This place looks a mess, and you're responsible for it. You're going to clean it up. I said, I'm not cleaning shit up. Well, you're going to the hole. I said, take me to the hole. Take me to the fucking hole. So they take me in the hole a couple of days. I comes out, and I start writing Cornbread all over the place, all over again. He said, you must suffer from some type of mental deficit. I made a recommendation for me to go to see the psychiatrist. So I go see the psychiatrist. So the psychiatrist asks me, he said, why is you writing Cornbread over the place, man? You got a problem or something? This is not necessary. You done fucked the whole place up writing this Cornbread bullshit. What is this about?
Wow.
I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. When they let me the fuck out of here, you're gonna hear about me. I'm gonna set the world on fire. You're gonna hear about me. And he knew I was talking nonsense. He brought me out the past. He said, take this, man, go back to your unit. I don't want to talk no more. Take a walk. Get out of here. So I left. So I came home in 1967.
How long did you stay in there?
Almost 2 years, almost 24 months.
Okay.
Right. And when I came home, we didn't use the word graffiti. You know why?
Why not?
Why you think?
You didn't use graffiti because I don't know.
But I never heard of the word graffiti. I never heard of the. When they called me a graffiti artist, I was offended.
How about spray paint?
We didn't use the word graffiti because there was none.
Okay.
There was no graffiti written anywhere. Only graffiti you seen was by gang members who wrote on walls to identify their turf.
Okay.
But there was no graffiti artist who went out and wrote his name. I wrote my name every day, everywhere for the sole purpose of establishing a reputation.
Were you the first person that ever started writing, like tagging on walls?
No. Graffiti has always been there since the beginning of time, since caveman. Okay. I am the world's first modern day graffiti artist.
Modern day.
I am the youngest person ever to establish an international art movement. I changed the historical course of my generation and gave birth to a global phenomenon. I am the first element of hip hop. In 1967, we did not use the word graffiti because there was none. In 1967, we did not use the word hip hop because there was none. If you check the record,
I would like to know, what did you use back then if it wasn't hip hop? Was it just rap?
I mean, Philadelphia had its version of hip hop before New York got it. 150,000 teenagers involved themselves in the social uprise. We adopted college fraternity names to identify ourselves. Our annual convention was in Atlantic City before the casinos was built. Mm-hmm. When we came to Atlantic City during an event called Omega by the Sea, mm-hmm. This event was given by real straight up college fraternity students who went to college, who wanted to be judges, lawyers, presidents, and congressmen. They were the real fraternity. We were the street fraternity, Philadelphia street fraternity, 150,000 strong. When we got to Atlantic City, we took Atlantic City over. There was no casinos. We consumed all the hotels, and every hotel had a ballroom. In every ballroom, there was a battle. We prepared dance steps weeks, months at a time, and we went to battle. That was the first wave of the hip hop revolution. New York can't say they was part of that. When that movement migrated from Philly and got to New York, they put a title on it. And what you thought they called it?
Graffiti? Back
hip-hop.
then?
Hip-hop.
Hip-hop, okay.
Hip-hop. But it was the foundation was already established. And we dressed up.
Wow.
I was rapping before rapping got to New York. I was rapping. I can rap. A lot of us rapped. But see, when this thing first started in 1967, it was real ugly. Graffiti was written everywhere, in churches, homes, cars, buildings, businesses. It was something brand new. I was the new phenomenon.
Well, I'm going to check. No, I'm saying, go ahead.
I'm going to work one day, and I had right my for 67. Cornbread was everywhere, all over the city of Philadelphia.
I'm quite
Nobody knew.
sure.
Nobody knew who I was. I was like Banksy. Nobody knew who I was.
Mm.
I'm going to work one day. I got a newspapers. I always read the newspapers while I ride. And on
Yeah.
the front page of the newspapers, I read Cornbread is shot to death. Story on page 3. I turned to page 3, and this is what I read.
Wrong
The,
person.
the fantastic career of Philadelphia best-known graffiti artist came to a violent end Sunday outside a hotel and bar. I'm reading about my own death.
So who was it they really was talking about? If it
The
wasn't
person
you?
got killed, his name was Cornelius. They got a big
Oh,
mix
oh.
up. When Corn laid in the street, his brains blew out. People walking by, oh, Corn got shot. Oh, Corn is dead. Well, somebody killed Corn. The media automatically assumed the corn
That it
short for
was you.
Cornelius was the corn short for cornbread.
Cornbread.
I'm reading about my own death. I'm on my way to Nabisco. I work in Nabisco on the Boulevard. I gets up, I pull the cord. I gets off, I go to the phone booth, I call my job, I calls out. I call the daily newspapers. I said, you better straighten out your article.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
You could
I
have
said,
sued them for that.
that's the freedom of the press. And Cornbread is not my legal name. I can't sue him.
Okay.
So I said, you better straighten your article. So the guy said, straighten up my article? Well, who is this? What are you talking about? I said, I'm Cornbread, and I'm not dead. Oh, come on, man. Let Cornbread rest in peace. We don't need no imposters, man. Cornbread is gone.
Yeah.
Let Cornbread rest in peace, man. He hung up on me. I called him right back. You better straighten up. You better straighten out your story, man. I would tear this town up. Yo, buddy, find something else better to do, man. Cornbread is gone, man. Let Cornbread rest in peace. He hung up on me again. I said, ain't this a bitch? Now, all I did was going to Cornelius' grave. I wasn't having it. I had pondered countless possibilities, and I came to the conclusion to go to the Philadelphia Zoo and bomb out the whole zoo. It
That's my
was
next. That's my next question, Cornbread. I wanted you. I knew you was gonna go into that. I wanted to ask you: was it really true that you hopped over the fence in Philadelphia at the Philadelphia Zoo and tagged the elephant?
let the truth be told. I had a point to prove. I had a point to prove that media made a mistake. They had to
Yeah.
correct their mistake. When I called them up to talk to them, they wasn't listening to me. I called them back again. They hung up on me again. So I had to take matters in my own hands. I had to deal with the media now. They made a mistake. They got to correct the mistake. And I know if I went to the zoo and I bombed out the whole zoo, they would know Cornbread is still around. So I goes over to see what's holding their attention.
Mhm.
And there's this guy down in the pit with the elephant. He got the elephant trunk in his hands. People taking pictures. He holding on the elephant ears. He's making contact with the elephant torso. The elephant had been in captivity. It just came, not captivity, but it was in a zoo.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was domesticated. And a lot of people are used to being around this elephant. And this is another person being around an elephant. They have to take pictures with the elephant, make
Mhm.
contact with the elephant. And I'm looking at this, that I seen where the guy's life is not in jeopardy. I'm like, shit, if he can do it, I can do it too.
That's right.
And I
That's right.
watched this elephant for 3 days. I went to the zoo, man, sometime I spent half the day with him, talking to him, throwing peanuts, talking to him. Yo, big guy, throwing some peanuts. Look at me, take his trunk, eat the peanut, and, you know, I'm talking to him. I come back the next day, I'm talking to him. The third day, I got enough heart. I got me a drink in the morning.
It was
I
all.
said, let's go. Got my spray paint, went to the zoo, went to the
Yeah.
back of the zoo, climbed over the fence, walked down to the enclosure we was at, hopped over to the pit, walked up to him, took his spray paint off. I started shaking the can. He turned around and
Wow.
looked at me. He knew who I am. I'm gonna feed him peanuts. He just act like I wasn't there. I walked up to him and wrote, Cornbread lives. Went around the other side, Cornbread lives. That was so damn sweet. I was kind of pissed off
Wow.
that
Wow. Wow.
it took me so long to do that. I'm anticipating. I'm thinking. I'm like, this gonna happen. This gonna happen. The possibility. It was a
Wow.
piece of cake, man. And I done that within a minute. Within a
Now,
minute.
let's just say if the authorities would have caught you doing that, do you think
Let me
you
tell
would
you what
have
happened. My
got
authorities
jail
did
time?
catch me. Authorities
Oh
did
wow.
catch me.
Okay.
When I came out that pit, the whole zoo was at my disposal. I just bombed
Wow.
out the whole zoo, the concession stands, the picnic tables, the trees, the water fountain, other houses were out of housing, bathrooms, women's bathrooms. I just bomb out the whole zoo, right? And somebody was in
Wow,
the zoo.
man.
Somebody was in my zoo seeing what I was doing and called the cops. By the time
Yeah,
I
of
got to the
course.
turnstile, it was pouring up, reaching for the guns. Don't fucking run. I'm like, ain't this? Put your hands on top of your head. I put my hands on top of my head. Came up, put my hands on the back of me. And took me to the police station. Now I was up all night trying to be there zoo on time. I get to the police station. I'm tired. I'm laying down trying to get me some rest. Every 5 minutes, cops come down to the holding cell. Which one of y'all was Cornbread? I said, right here. What's up? Kid, give me an autograph.
Yeah,
All day long. All day long. So all the guys on the cell block was like, yo, Cornbread. Who the fuck is you, man? What's up with you, man? Fucking cops actually. They didn't know what time I'm just getting started. I
wow,
goes to
wow.
court. It was like a circus, man. I mean, the judge is more interested in knowing what made me tick than what I'm in front of him for. He asked the courtroom clerk, get Cornbread's autograph. Come over
Yeah,
to me. I signed the autograph, gave it back to him, gave it to the judge. I knew he was not gonna hurt me.
wow.
They put me in a community-based program. Because my mom died, my grandmom died, and they weren't trying to hurt me because what I was doing was not sinful behavior. Graffiti is not sinful behavior, right? And when I came home, man, I was the new phenomena. I'm like, wasn't nothing else going on. Was no hip hop, was no graffiti going. If you check your record, you'll find there's no other hip hop artist that was before me. You check your record, you'll find there's no graffiti artist that was before me.
Wow. Wow.
I started all this shit, man.
Wow. So I found very interesting that you actually did that. You went to a zoo and you tagged an elephant and got really you got famous off of that. Like
Yeah.
that you skyrocketed off. So after you left the police station, you went back out. Did you like go harder out in the streets after that? Right
Oh
after.
man, when they talked about me on the elephant, um, I know there was more. There's more where that came from. And my objective now is to pay in as much newspapers as I can get into. Georgie Woods, the radio DJ, announced on the radio that the Jackson 5 was coming up to Philly to do a show to battle the 5 stair steps. And then
Okay.
anybody who's interested in getting an autograph should come to the airport. As a publicity stunt, you take pictures, sign autographs, and, take pictures with them. I went down there, must have been 70, 80 people down there. And my whole thing is, I want to write my name on this jet.
You
King
you
was, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till you sit down because you like real close on the screen. I want the world to see what's going ahead of the story, man. Like this is deep. Eh.
Yeah.
Wow. So
So,
you actually getting on a jet?
yeah,
Wow.
the same jet that brought Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5 to Philly.
It's kind of dark now. You real
Yeah,
dark.
I'm gonna come to some light. I'm gonna come to this down. So, you didn't hear about that?
No, I heard, but I don't know, little bits and pieces. I think they said it was somebody else that did that, but since you telling me, I know it was you. I know you probably did that.
I'm the only
Wow.
person that did that. That can never be duplicated.
Yeah. So
Right.
yeah.
See, um, I didn't go down there to see the Jackson 5. I went down and read my name on that jet. When I wrote my name on the jet, I came down the stairwell. I went into the airport, into the terminal.
Mhm.
They had got the limousine they pulled off. I go to that terminal. I get myself a seat. I'm not going nowhere. I want to see this plane take off with my name on it. I sat there damn an hour and a half.
Wow.
Finally, the plane got active. The propellers are going to start going around. The plane backed out. It went this way. It went that way. And the faster it went, it eventually became airborne. I seen this plane take off with my name on it.
You did it real fast, cornbread.
I had to do it real fast.
That's right. That's
And
right.
that cannot be duplicated. That can never be duplicated. All I ever wanted to do was read about myself in the newspapers. I mean, mischief was running through my veins. I wasn't into gang war. I wasn't into drugs. I wasn't using no drugs. I wasn't selling no drugs. I wasn't hurting nobody. I was doing my thing. And that was a new phenomenon. And a lot of kids, man, really don't have outlets. A lot of kids don't play sports. A lot of
Right.
kids don't gang war. A lot of kids don't get into a lot of negative stuff. They go to
Mhm.
school. And besides that, it's probably pretty much just not no construction in a lot of people's lives.
That's right.
I
That's right.
gave teenagers an outlet. All right. I caused a
Give hope.
psychological. I caused a lot. I caused a psychological effect on the minds of the teenage generation in Philadelphia when
Mhm.
they kept seeing me in the newspapers. I was in newspapers, front page, comic editorials, comic strips, magazine covers. Every teenager wanted that same notoriety that I received, and the only way you can get it is write your name. I have wrote my name so many places. They talked about me like they talked about Jesus. I was a new phenomenon, and I just took that and I ran with it. And all I want to do is read about myself in the newspapers. And I'm coming from the Fox movies one time, right there, 16th and Market, and
Mhm.
that building where the clothespin is at 15th and Market,
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
that building was under construction. When I walked by, I seen this big fence. I looked up, big skyscraper still under construction. I came over the fence, I walked to the elevator, and I pushed the 40th floor, and I wrote all the way up to the 40th floor, 40th floor, and I wrote my name, Cornbread, on massive slabs of concrete, the elevator, steel beams, the stairwell. I mean, I just really fucked this place up. When the architects came to work the next day, they
Yeah.
went hysterical. They said, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, what is wrong with this guy?" That made the newspapers.
I'm
Along
quite
as
sure.
yes, I love to read about myself in the newspapers, and I would do anything by any means to get there.
Wow,
On
man.
another occasion, I paid my friend Kelly $20 to take a blank gun with blank pellets. I'm gonna call the cops. I want you to shoot at them when they get here. He said, "Why should I do that, Britt?" I said, "You got first of all, you got blank. It's a blank gun. You're not gonna hurt nobody. You make some caps." I'm saying, you want to draw the police into the building. When the police come into the building, they're gonna leave their vehicles unattended. I'm gonna write my name there. Go ahead, do it, Britt. Go ahead, do it. So when the police came, I called. I said, "You better get some police up here, man, because um, the gang's about ready to kill this guy. They beating his ass half to death. And you have a homicide
Hmm.
on your hands. You better bring some police up here." Two cop cars shows up. That's not enough.
Two.
Kelly's in the cop cars. Kelly starts shooting at them. Pow, 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 pow. They were walking towards the building. They hit these shots. Kelly reloads, shooting at them again. Pow, 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 pow. Oh, back up, back up, back up. We're being shot at. We're being shot. More cops come. That's what I'm talking about. And years ago, pow, 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 pow. Cops start coming to the building, leaving the building,
Yeah.
leaving their vehicles unattended. But I also told Kelly, when you see them coming to the building, you go downstairs to your apartment and lock your door. Because we was upstairs in my apartment. They're not gonna come to us out there when he was in the vacant apartment. When they
Right.
started coming to the building, he went downstairs, locked his door, cut his television, and everything, nothing happened. They come to the vacant apartment, see all the blank the blank cartridges. They say, "What the hell is this about?" They get back downstairs, and all the vehicles had cornbread on it.
All
It
the
was too many
vehicles
cop
had your name.
Yes, it was
Wow.
too many cop cars to take off the street. Now the police are right now in North Philly. Police, cornbread. But they never advertised that because they didn't want teenagers defacing police vehicles. So that was never advertised. But I was crazy about reading about myself in the newspapers. That's for me. That was all it was about.
You took that to the extreme, man. Like the things that you've done, I don't think nobody ever did that. No, no,
That would never
no
be duplicated. That would
bombers.
never be
That's
duplicated.
right. That's
Right.
right, man. I don't think nobody ever did that. Were you ever inducted in a graffiti hall of fame?
I'm inducted in several graffiti hip hop Hall of Fame, graffiti Hall of Fame. I've been
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
to I've been to Europe several times. I mean, that's what I do. I'm trying to get to Israel. I just got back from
What were you doing out of Europe?
I go to Europe all the time. I had a show and where was you at, baby? It was in Amsterdam. This is all for street art. Soon you walk in big, this big ass factory, nothing but art. The first thing you see is cornbread. I started this shit 1965. That's still there.
So you
That's
have
still
your
there.
own. Do you have your own mural somewhere hanging up, or like old pictures that you hit that you saved?
I got murals of me, Michelle Obama, Malcolm X, Alicia Keys. What's the comedian? What's the comedian? The
Uh,
short Dawson guy,
Short
Kevin
Dustin.
Hart.
Kevin
Kevin
Hart. Yeah,
Hart.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I gotta send you some of the mirrors that are there. And I got so many
yeah.
mirrors, man.
Hmm.
I got mirrors of me
Wow.
over in Amsterdam. I got mirrors of me in Barcelona. They talk. I'm like, this is global, man. I gave birth
So,
to a global phenomenon.
and you definitely did, man. And by going to all these places, was it paid for by other people for you to get there?
I never paid for me to go anywhere. If I gotta pay, I'm not going. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Wow, wow. It's your story, man. Is like fascinating because the stories that I'm hearing, you done tagged on a private jet, you tagged the elephant at the zoo, you tagged police cars. I mean, what didn't you
And a
hit out here?
skyscraper.
And a skyscraper. When I think about the movie B Street and Wild Style and Electric Boogaloo and all that stuff, I think that you started something with those movies, man, because the movies didn't come out till about 80. You was doing
Right.
this in the 60s.
I
So
started. I started in '65.
in
I stopped in
65.
I stopped in '71. In '71, people just getting started.
That's right. And you did it. Oh, wow. You did it back in the gang war when they was
Yeah,
out there gang warring, man.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
refused the gang. Why? I just wasn't into stabbing my brother, shooting my brother, or beat my brother for what?
Exactly.
For
You,
what?
you, you found another avenue, another way, man. Wow, man.
Yeah.
What is the difference? What's the difference between graffiti and street art?
Street art. I was talking to my man Balu in Barcelona. He said, Cornbread, all this is the same, man. You got writers, you got artists, you got bombers. It's all the same. I used to try to distinct myself a difference from myself from wall writers. Like you got a group of guys here in Philly that call themselves wall writers.
Okay.
That's what they do. Um, I call myself a street artist because I'll be 69 years old this year, and next year I'll be 70. I was a war writer when I came home from YDC in 1967. I was a war writer then.
Wow.
I'm 68 years old now. I don't call myself a war writer. I got great grandchildren. I would
Mm.
never call myself a war. I mean, I don't put war writers down. I just choose not to. I prefer to be called myself a street artist.
Okay. Okay. And you mentioned YDC, man, and we talking 8, 9 years old. And you mentioning gangs around that age, 8 or 9 and 10 years old, gangs
Yeah,
inside the
yeah,
prison like that. Wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like by the time I got there, I was 10 going on 11. You
Okay.
know, but a
Still
lot
young.
of guys, huh?
Still a baby. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
still young.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys my age is right there before I got there was younger than me. I met the Mays brothers. It was four brothers that was there: Tyrone, Derek, James, and Reggie. We
Mm.
was all 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. Reggie had been there, went home and came back. So that was
Wow.
seeing it was the youngest unit there, you know. And when I came home in '67, there wasn't nothing. There wasn't pretty much nothing that was going on. Um, I'm coming in from writing my name one night, and I seen all these guys sitting on the corner of my block busting on each other. So I walked over to them. I got my laughs. I listened to them talk about each other. After about 5, 10 minutes of that, I walked across the street, put my spray paint, I wrote Cornbread in a big wall. He came on and said, "Damn, that's you?" I said, "Yeah." "You from around here?" I said, "This is my neighborhood. Y'all in my neighborhood. Your
Wow.
neighborhood?
Wow.
Where you been?" I said, "I just came home." "And y'all must have moved to the neighborhood." I was gone. I've been gone almost 2 years. Wow. So Titty says to me, "Can I write my name?" I give him spray paint. He wrote Titty, but the emblems of Delta, Phi, Soul. I didn't know what that
Wow.
meant. I said, "What does that mean?" He said, That's our crew. That's Delta Phi Soul. That's our club we belong to." I said, "What do y'all do?" I said, "We have socials, we have parties, we go on excursions, we go to different people's houses, we party, we eat, we dance, we get dressed, and we have a good time, man. That's all about having a good time, enjoying ourselves.
Okay.
Come on,
Yeah.
come on,
Cool.
join us." I said, "I'll join you." I joined Delta Phi Soul. I turned Delta Phi Soul, all of them, into war writers. We were
Wow.
war writers then.
Wow.
right? And when it came down to it, when my make about to see had that function, the wall writers stood out. I was, I wasn't, I was. Come on, Connie. I was in the mainstream of the movement, and when that thing took off, man, my name started. They started talking about me like they talked about Jesus. I'm not lying. It
Wow.
just kept
Yeah.
coming up. Yeah, it just kept coming up, kept coming up. You talk about hip
You.
hop. Um, those guys in New York, those rappers and the pop and glitter, those guys got money, but we had investors, you had lawyers, you had bankers, you had drug dealers, had major money investing into themselves. That didn't happen here because when it started happening in Philly, it was ugly, man. People was getting their homes written on, their businesses written on, their houses written on, the cars written on. It was ugly, man. When nobody invested money in that. When they got to New York, the artist was overlooked by me. When they got to New York, the artist was on the front line.
Wow, man. You were big out here, man. Famous. You're a famous
Yeah,
graffiti writer, a legend.
yeah.
Uh, did you attend Strawberry Mansion High School?
I sure did. I came home in '67. I was in Strawberry Mansion, and I got home some like a week after the class started. And Mr. Cushman, my great teacher, she said about me. He says about, "This is Daryl McCray. This is a new addition to our classroom. Daryl, find yourself a seat. There's a seat in the back. Get yourself a seat." And I said, "Got a seat in the back of the class." I sat next to this pretty girl, and I started talking to her. Her name was Cynthia, and Cynthia was kind of smart, and she didn't go for
Yeah.
my bullshit. And I'd be talking on to Ginger she was a good looking girl too. And I was talking on top of her, trying to get her. And she was just what happened. I started walking to a class after school. I walk
Hmm.
home, but she would never let me walk into a door. So I started writing my name along the path that we took from school to our house. And I had my
Wow.
arms around her. Look, Cynthia, somebody loves you. Cornbread loves Cynthia. She said, I don't know no cornbread. And do you know how Miss Cynthia is? I said, that's not me. That's not me.
So you was writing this stuff before you met her? I mean, not before you met her. You was writing this stuff because you liked her.
Yes, yes. But I was writing
Wow. Wow.
cornbread before I met her.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
like,
before you met her. But
yeah,
when you met her,
I
you
started writing
started liking
cornbread.
her.
I started writing
Exactly.
cornbread love
Yeah.
Cynthia. Right.
Wow. Wow.
So
Wow.
for the longest, she couldn't, she said, you keep telling me cornbread love Cynthia. That's not me. I don't know no cornbread. You tell me no cornbread. That's not me. That's just 100 Cynthia. That's not me. I'm not the Cynthia. So I had to make a connection with her. I went to her house like 2 o'clock in the morning with some white chalk on her front house of her door. I wrote cornbread love Cynthia.
Wow.
She comes to school the next day. That bastard. I said, what are you talking about? That bastard wrote his name on my damn wall, Daryl. Now she only knew me as Daryl. She didn't know me as cornbread. I
Yeah.
said, what bastard? She said, cornbread. I knew you knew cornbread. I knew you knew cornbread. If he wrote his name on your wall, he must have came to your house. He came to my house when you must have seen him. I didn't see him. Why you write his name on your wall? Because I was in the house asleep. I woke up in the morning, it was there. Before I went to bed, it wasn't there. Oh, come on, I said,
Wow.
you pulling my leg. You know you like this guy. I'm messing with him. No, you don't understand. I don't know him. This went back and forth for months. One day, she
You never
says,
told her.
I never thought I messed with her mom for the longest. And one day,
Yeah.
when I'm walking home from school, she says, cornbread loves Cynthia on my book. She
Wow.
grabbed the book, and I knew she seen it. I pulled the book back, and we tussled for the book. Just give me the book, Daryl. Give me the book. I said, give me the book first. This is my book. Give me the book. I'm not playing with you. Give me the fucking book. Give me the book. She snatched the book. Cornbread loves Cynthia. You been writing this? I said, yep. You came to my house and put this shit on my wall? Yep. She said, Daryl, all this time I didn't know that was you. Why you do me like that? I just wanted to leave you in suspense. Now she never had no problems leave me on the corner. I never came to a house. You know what I'm saying? This time I walk home. She said, come on, walk me to my house. I was like, good, you can come to my house. Took me to my house. Come on in. I come and have a seat. You want something to drink? I was like, yes. I'll take something to drink. We sitting there talking shortly after our mother walks in the house. Looks, I walked in the house. I got sunglasses on, my hat turned to the side, toothpick in my mouth, hands in my back pocket, my pants rolled up, looked like a straight street jitterbug. My mom said, "What the hell is this, Cynthia? What is he doing in my house?" "Oh, that's my friend Daryl."
Yeah.
"What?" "Oh, Daryl, how you doing?" I said, "I'm all right. Have a seat right there. I want Dub to see this."
Uh-huh.
I turned to Cynthia. I said, "Who is Dub?" She said, "Dub is my father." "Who she
Ooh.
calling her this?" "She called you a this? She called me a this." You hear what I said? She
You
said,
say
"I want
you.
Dub to see this." Called
Yeah,
me a
yeah.
this.
That's
So
right. That's right.
about 10 minutes later, he walked in. "Dub, you got to see this. You got to see this." "Got to see what?"
Like, like you not even human.
Right, right, exactly. He comes and looks. "Look at this." He said, "Come on, man, let's go. Let's go." I said, "Let's go. Where we going?" "You out of my house. Let's go. Get up. Get out
Wow.
my house."
Wow.
I felt so damn bad, man. I was embarrassed, humiliated, man. So like, she
Well,
saw
well,
me.
what did she say? Like, did she stop her father from putting you out?
Well, Mr. Dublin, he didn't take no shit. See, Cynthia was most likely to succeed. She was smart, intelligent. Today, Cynthia is a supervisor for a pharmaceutical plant. She's real smart, man. You know, and they didn't want the likes of me interrupting their family, possibly impregnating their daughter. And then they
Yeah.
want the likes of me around or inside their house. So don't leave out there. Don't ever come back my house. Don't ever step foot in my steps again. You got that? I said, "I got that. Okay, all right, no problem." So Cynthia started coming to my house. Normally she get home from work. Get home from school at 3:30, quarter to 4. Get out of school at 3 o'clock. By the time we lollygag and bullshit and stop at some ice cream and some pretzels, taking our time coming home, she got quarter to 4. Now she's getting
Hmm.
home 6:30, quarter to 7. They know she's with
Wow.
me.
Hmm.
He moves. I don't think that he moved because of me. I think he was moving because he wanted to move. When she moved and got transferred to another school, out of sight, out of mind, I stopped writing Cornbread, left Cynthia, and left her alone. I resumed writing Cornbread everywhere. But a lot of guys I tell a story to thinks that that's where this legacy started at with Cynthia. Such is not the case.
Wow. 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 This is very interesting. Viewers, we have the legendary Cornbread. This man is he's famous for writing graffiti all over the walls, police cars, going to the zoo, hitting elephants, skyscrapers, everything you can name, man. This man started a movement in New York, Europe, and all the parts of the city, all in the city, man, of Philadelphia. This man is legendary. Cornbread. I have something else to ask you before we break, man. Um, I know you have an Instagram and a Facebook. Can you give the people your handle if they want to see some art? They want to look at your page. Can you give the viewers your Instagram handle
I
and your
can be
Facebook
reached
handle?
on Instagram, Cornbread the Legend.
Cornbread the legend. Everybody hear that. Cornbread. Listen, man, it was a pleasure.
I want to add this.
Mhm.
My wife Connie and I, we are writing the book about my life, which I hope to be published. I want that to be my Christmas gift. So I'm writing my book. Um,
Mhm.
be on the lookout for the book. Now I'm not sure what name I'm gonna start it on Coleman Change the World or I Start This Shit. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I see that on the back of the wall right there on the video. You can't really see that, but it say cornbread. I started. Yes, I think that'd be dope, man. Because that's it right there. You did start it.
Well, see,
I think it's dope.
with that being said, I want this book to be available in school settings, college fraternity. College, universities, and public school settings. If you put "I start this shit," that's not gonna be feasible for young children to read.
Yeah, or you say something else like cornbread. I started this thing, yeah, it's just something where you can take the shit out. You know,
Or cornbread, or I changed the world.
there you go. There you go. There you go. That's it
Yes,
right
sir.
there.
It's
Cornbread.
been
Listen,
wonderful
man.
talking to you, brother.
Oh man, it's an honor to have you on the show, the A Vision Entertainment Media. I've been trying to get you. I reached out to you once. I don't even think you ever got my email this time, but I got you this time, and I thank you so much for that, man. I really do.
Yes, sir,
I do,
brother.
man.
Yes, I appreciate you, man.
And listen, man, Viewers, this is the legendary Cornbread. Check him out. He told you the page. Look him up. This man is all over the place, man. He started from the 60, 65 on up to the day. Now, one more thing. What are you doing right now today?
I'm writing my book. I'm shooting a documentary. I have a documentary entitled "Cry of the City." I wanted to be redone, so I'm looking for a filmmaker. I can be reached at Cornbread1, the number Cornbread1Philly at gmail.com. I'm looking for a filmmaker. I'm creating a GoFundMe account to pay the filmmaker. This documentary got to be done. I'll be 70 years old in November next year, and time is of the essence.
There you go. There you have it. Viewers, we see you. A Vision Entertainment Media Broadcast. We have the legendary Cornbread. Peace out, brother.
Peace out, my brother. Take care of yourself. Be careful.